Hello, fifth graders. Today we are going to be practicing our multiplication with fractions, but then taking our answer and changing it into a mixed number. So we're going to wind up with improper fractions that we're going to change into mixed numbers. So let's start in our notebooks and write down 26 times 3/4. Remember, we have a few different options of how we could write this. I don't want to write 3/4 26 different times to add up. That would take too long. So I can either put 26 over 1 and multiply straight across, just like this. Or I can rewrite it as 26 times 3 over 4. Once I do that, I'm going to wind up with 78 over 4 because the denominator is going to stay the same. And now we have what's called an improper fraction. Remember, an improper fraction is when our numerator, the top number, is larger than the denominator, the bottom number. So what can we do here? Well, we have to remember that the fraction bar is also division. So really, this problem says 78 divided by 4. Or, how many 4s can we pull out of 78? So I'm going to just do some quick division over here to see if I get a whole number or not. 4 goes into 7 one time, which is 4. I'm going to subtract and get 3. I'm going to bring down my next digit, which is an 8. 4 goes into 38. Well, I know that 4 times 10 is 40, so it's probably one less than that. So 4 times 9 is 36. I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to get 2. Now, when we're dealing with fractions, our remainder will actually become our numerator. And any ideas what our denominator is going to be? Well, if you said the divisor, you are correct. So the divisor is going to become our denominator. So you can do this all the time with remainders. You take the remainder and put it over the divisor, and that's the fraction that's left over. So we have 19 and 2/4. Now, right away, when I see 19 and 2/4, I notice that 2/4 can be divided by 2 over 2 to simplify. So we have 19 and 1/2. All right, right now we're going to have some rapid practice. Write these in your notebook, and we'll do some simplistic practice here. So let's just start with 3 over 2. So we want to think how many 2's can go into 3. We can pull out 1 2 out of 3, and what's left, we have 1/2. The denominator is always going to stay the same, and what's left over is our numerator. Okay, what about 5/4? Well, I can pull out 4 from 5, which leaves me with 1 left over, and our denominator stays the same. So what is exactly happening here is when we take away, how are we getting this 1, this whole number in our mixed number? Well, we're actually subtracting that 1 in the form of a fraction. In this case, 4/4 equals 1/4. And this 4/4 is the same as 1, which is where we get 1 and 1/4. So let's see, 7/5, we're going to subtract 5/5, which is 1. So that's my whole number. And what's left? 2/5 are left over. How about 9/2? Well, I can subtract, because I'm dealing with halves here. I can subtract 2 over 2. That gets me 7/2. I can subtract another 2 over 2. That gets me 5/2. I can subtract another 2 over 2. That gets me 3/2. and subtract another 2 over 2. That gets me 1/2. So let's see, we have this equals 1, this equals 1, this equals 1, and this equals 1. So that gives me 4 with the 1/2. So 9/2 equals 4 and 1/2. Now, the quicker way to solve this would be to say, how many times does 2 go into 9? 2 goes into 9 4 times. That's how we're getting our whole number. So whichever way you prefer, or if you want to use the fraction bars at division and set it up just like this again, we can say 2 goes into 9 4 times. We subtract the 8, we get 1. That's our remainder. Remember, the remainder becomes our numerator, and our divisor becomes our denominator.